Dave, you worked as head of recruitment for several years. Give some advice to our viewers to get their dream job. Thank you, Paul, for having me. Well, Paul, you don't need to memorize your answers while preparing. But you should think about what you're going to say, so you're not put on the spot. Your responses will be stronger if you prepare in advance, know what to expect during the interview, and have a sense of what you want to focus on. Your interviewers will likely start out with a question about yourself and your background to get to know you. By asking this question, the interviewer wants to know why you are an excellent fit for the job. Start out by giving them an overview of your current position or activities, then provide the most important and relevant highlights from your background that make you most qualified for the role. Let's play a sample response to this question.
Clara, tell me about yourself. Currently, I serve as the assistant to the CEO. From my 12 years of experience as an executive assistant, I have developed the ability to anticipate roadblocks and create effective alternative plans. My greatest value to any executive is my ability to work independently, freeing up their time to focus on the needs of the business. It is clear that you are looking for someone who understands the nuances of managing a CEO's busy day and can proactively tackle issues. As someone with an eye for detail and a drive to organize, I thrive on making sure every day has a clear plan and every plan is clearly communicated.
Excellent. Another common question you are likely to come across is, what interests you about this role? Hiring managers often include this question to make sure you understand the role and give you an opportunity to highlight your relevant skills. In addition to carefully reading the job description, it can be helpful to compare the role requirements against your skills and experience. Choose a few things you particularly enjoy or excel at, and focus on those in your answer. Let's hear a sample response.
What interests you about this role? Making a meaningful difference in the lives of my patients and their families motivates me to strive for excellence in everything I do. I look forward to seeing their reaction when we get a positive outcome that will change their lives forever. Like the family of a young boy we treated last year, at 8 years old, he had experienced a rapid weight gain and signs of depression. His parents described him as a joyful child, but now he seemed disengaged and uninterested in his typical schedule. In the end, we determined that it was hypothyroidism, which is of course controllable with medication. The boy is adjusting well to the treatment and has returned to his joyful self. That's why I became a nurse and pursuing a position in pediatrics.
Let's continue to play few common questions and answers for our viewers.
Jessica, why are you leaving your current job?
There are many reasons for leaving a job. Prepare a thoughtful answer that will give your interviewer confidence that you're being deliberate about this job change. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects of your current or previous role, focus on the future and what you hope to gain in your next position.
I'm looking for an opportunity that gives me the ability to build closer and long-term relationships with clients. In my current role, the sales cycle is so short that I don't spend as much time building a rapport with my customers as I'd like. Relationship building is one of the reasons I chose a career in sales, and I look forward to working with a company where that's a top priority. What are your greatest strengths?
His question gives you an opportunity to talk about both your technical and soft skills. To answer, share qualities and personal attributes, and then relate them back to the role for which you're interviewing.
I am a natural problem solver. I find it rewarding to dig deep and uncover solutions to challenges. It's like solving a puzzle. It is something I have always excelled and enjoy. Much of product development is about finding innovative solutions to challenging issues, which is what drew me to this career path in the first place. What are your greatest weaknesses?
It can feel awkward to discuss your weaknesses in an environment where you're expected to focus on your accomplishments. However, when answered correctly, sharing your weaknesses can show that you are self-aware and want to continuously get better at your job, traits that are extremely attractive to many employers. Remember to start with the weakness and then discuss the measures you've taken to improve. This way, you're finishing your answer on a positive note.
Earlier in my career, I noticed, because I was so enthusiastic about my work. I had a tendency to say yes when should have been saying no. At one point, I ended up so overwhelmed by my workload, taking on so many projects, that I was working evenings and weekends. It was stressful, and that stress affected my production quality. I realized this was counterproductive, so I started using workload management tools to set better expectations for myself and my teammates. Lizzie, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Understanding how you imagine your life in the future can help employers understand whether the trajectory of the role and company fits in with your personal development goals. To answer, provide general ideas about the skills you want to develop, the types of roles you would like to be in, and things you would like to have accomplished.
In 5 years, I'd like to be an industry expert in my field, able to train and mentor students and entry-level designers alike. I would also like to gain specialized experience in user experience to be a well-rounded contributor working with design and marketing teams on large-scale projects that make a difference both in the company and the global community. Can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
This question is often used to assess how well you perform under pressure as well as your problem-solving abilities. Keep in mind, stories are more memorable than facts and figures, so strive to show instead of tell. This is also an excellent opportunity to show your human side and how you're willing to go the extra mile without being asked.
It was the first day of my boss's 2-week vacation, and our agency's highest-paying client threatened to leave because he didn't feel he was getting the personalized service he was promised. I spent my lunch hour on the phone with him, talking through his concerns. We even brainstormed ideas for his next campaign. He was grateful for the personal attention. He signed another 6-month contract before my boss even returned from her trip.
Another common question is, what is your salary range expectation? Interviewers ask this question to make sure your expectations are in line with the amount they've budgeted for the role. If you give a salary range exceedingly lower or higher than the market value of the position, it gives the impression that you don't know your worth. Research the typical compensation range for the role and tend towards the higher side of your range. Be sure to let the hiring manager know if you're flexible with your rate. One of the most important questions asked during the interview process is, do you have any questions? This allows you to explore any subject that hasn't been addressed, and shows the interviewer you're excited about the role. By this point, you'll likely have already covered most of the basics about the position and the company. So take time to ask the interviewer questions about their own experiences with the company, and gain tips on how you can succeed, if hired. For example, what do you love about working for this company? What would success look like in this role? What are some of the challenges people typically face in this position? Etc. And if asked what did you like the least about your last position? Avoid saying anything negative about your former employer, or managers or colleagues. Make this answer about your career growth and your enthusiasm for joining their organization. You can answer this way, while I enjoyed my time learning and growing in my last job, there was a lack of opportunity in the way I wanted to progress in my career. I deeply enjoy being challenged and getting better at what I do, which I understand is a top priority for managers at your organization. That's why I'm excited to continue having conversations about this opportunity. Remember this. Much like preparing for a test in school, the best way to succeed in your interview is to study and practice. Do research on the company and the job, and practice your talking points until you feel confident about your answers. The more you prepare, the more likely you are to leave a lasting impression and outperform fellow candidates. We are almost out of time. Could you give us a few quick tips to our viewers? Of course. Interviewer might also ask, how do you handle stress? This isn't a trick question to see if you get stressed at work or not. Rather, how you handle a stressful moment is an indicator of your ability to solve problems. Employers want to hire candidates who react to stress in a constructive manner, so it's important that your answer to this question demonstrates personal growth. You can say, I'm able to stay calm when I focus on the bigger picture and break down my projects into smaller tasks, and determine what is the ultimate goal I'm trying to achieve. I make a list of action items with reasonable deadlines. Even if the big project is due tomorrow, I ask myself, what's something I can tackle in the next 30 minutes? Before I know it, I've made significant progress, and that impossible project doesn't seem so impossible. Well, Thank you, Dave, for your valuable time tonight. Pleasure.